Hi everyone, my name is Erin Elizabeth Wamberg. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. Happy new moon. Today we do have a new moon in Sagittarius. So for your pick a card reading today, I will be reading the cards in a way that is related to new moon energy, which is about creating new things, calling new things in, focusing on new energy you want to bring into your life. If you're watching this when it is not the new moon, then there is still a message in here for you if you felt called to watch this reading. Today we also have a eclipse with this new moon, so we're kind of in the series of eclipses going on. So eclipses are about timing, divine timing. They're about changed fate. They're about karmic seeds being sown. So this is really a time to just focus your energy on what you do want, remembering we are not more powerful than God, but it is important for us to think about what we want and be intentional with our lives. So I've inserted a picture. I have 3 groups for you today. You can pause the video. You can pick by the sound of my voice. You can pick by the card that you can see. You can pick by the affirmation you can see or by the number. Just take a moment and pick the group that resonates for you. And then when you're ready, all the timestamps are below, and I will see you at the reading that you chose. Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 1. So as a reminder, new moons, for this new moon in Sagittarius, this is about calling in new energy. So I will be reading the cards in that way for you. But again, if you're watching this when it is not the new moon, there can be a message in here for you. So just focus on, again, calling in new things, new energy, new thoughts, new belief patterns. Any and all of that, this is a great time to do that with new moons. Okay, so group 1, you picked Life Loves Me as your affirmation. Very nice. So you see there's a child on the card. So this is just a good reminder that life does love us. Okay, a lot of times we can get when we're so hooked in and so attached and so focused on, this is my plan, this is how it needs to be, this is what needs to be happening. When we're so focused on that, sometimes we can really just forget. If we loosen our grip just a little bit, then we can just see things are always working out for us in a way that we can't see in the moment, right? Like God is the only one who has access to the big picture. We don't. And so it's important for us to focus on, just being open to things beyond that and being open to understanding that, okay, even if things aren't going the exact way I thought they would, or the timing I want, or the way that I want, or the order I want, right? There's still something going on here that is serving you, that is important for you, that is a way that life is loving you, right? So sometimes this can be a very simple, clear, good affirmation for us, right? Life loves me. Or if you want to take it a step further, you can ask yourself, how can I see what's happening right now as like an answered prayer, right? So there's so many times that our ego really wants us to focus on things we don't have. And then when we're so focused on that, we could be getting some things we want. Some prayers could be getting answered, but we're still so focused on the stuff that's not here that we don't see all of that. So with this new moon, maybe you want to focus on just calling in some gratitude, calling in some awareness. Maybe you want to do a gratitude list, right? Here's 5 things in my life I'm grateful for today. Even if it's, these bigger things aren't being answered yet, right? With these. So just a nice reminder, life loves me. You can also put God loves me, source loves me, spirit loves me, anything like that. Okay, so as usual, I am going to start with your tarot, and then I have your oracle cards. Okay, so first we have 6 of Pentacles. That one doesn't come out too much in my readings. 7 of Wands, Queen of Wands, Temperance, and Page of Swords. Okay, so I get why this group, Why Life Loves Me, came out here. I feel like you, group 1, this is really energy about 6 of Pentacles and 7 of Wands. This is really about like feeling a lot of unfair energy and then like creating conflict in the mind around that. So as you can see with the 6 of Wands, 6 of Pentacles, there's like a misbalance here, right? It feels like this person or this energy or this thing or this whatever you're projecting, like you think, okay, well, they have all the balance, they know what's going on, this is totally balanced out. But for me down here, it's totally unfair, and I'm just waiting for crumbs, and I'm just waiting for things to happen, and they're not happening. Or I thought things were going to be totally different by now, or I thought things are different right now, right? So this is really about knowing that there is balance. Life does love you. God does love you. Whatever, again, what word feels good for you. But this is about feeling, if you feel like things are unfair, or you feel like things are, not being, and then especially in regards to physical reality. So if you're having some issues or some challenges, or you just feel like things are really unfair in terms of physical reality or your life with that, this is definitely indicated here. And then going right into that, the Seven of Wands, this is saying, like a lot of times if we think something is unfair, the ego loves to be a victim. The ego loves to be like, well, this is totally messed up. How could this happen to me? Why is this happening to me? And all of that. And so what happens with this is this definitely, this is like a conflict that you're creating in your own mind where you're just feeding it when it's like, it's not that, intense, right? I don't ever want to dismiss anyone's feelings, but also we have to realize when we're making an issue or when we're projecting like insanity onto a situation when it doesn't need to be like that. So this is really like something feels unfair, feels like, why is this happening to me? And then this is your ego running with it and really just being like, yeah, you know what, this is unfair and I am a victim and this isn't working out for me and this isn't blah, 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 da, 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 da. So like this energy of whatever situation in your life you've been projecting that, this new moon is really about like, okay, it's time to tell a new story about that. It's time to release that and not buy into it. And I want to get very clear, like, this is not to say if something messed up did happen to you, we're not dismissing that. Again, no spiritual bypassing. I don't believe in that. But this is just to say that if you have been putting your energy longer than it needs to in that situation, or you playing this fantasy of like, oh, well, it could have been different, or I could have changed things, or it could have been whatever, right? Stop. Okay, this is what we don't want to be doing that with this new moon. So it's just saying that like sometimes we create hell with our own minds just by playing something over and over and over again. And obviously as someone who understands mental health and has my own mental health stuff, right? We're not saying like if you with PTSD or with things like this, right? Sometimes we can't control our thoughts, but this is just about being nicer to yourself. And so even if you can't change the story yet, you can change the way you speak to yourself about the situation, right? So just feels like just some thought patterns that have gotten like, very, very out of control with the situation. But look at the center of your reading, the theme of your reading, we do have the Queen of Wands. So it's very clear that for this group, you need a reminder that you are the queen. Okay, you are the queen of your life. And there is a lot of good, powerful energy here for you to access. And this is the theme of your reading. It's the center of your reading. So this really is just a reminder, like this is like who your soul knows you are, right? The ego loves to be a victim, and sometimes that can be, a lot of us have learned to use being seen as a victim as a manipulation tactic. Okay, so like if someone says, I'm a victim, blah, blah, whatever, then it's like, oh, people feel pity for me, and then we might be manipulating them, right? Sometimes we do that subconsciously, sometimes we learned it from somewhere, whatever. But this is really saying, if you're in that victim mindset, it's not helping anyone. Okay, we always have at least a little bit of control over something, again, even if it's just the way we think, the story we tell ourselves, even if it's just the way we understand a situation. And so this is really saying, like, don't buy into that victim story and instead move into that place of like knowing this is what can happen for me, this is the choice I'm making, these are the thoughts I'm thinking, right? We have a choice to see a situation how it needs to be seen in order to like move forward and feel this queen energy. And again, my readings are not gender specific, so this is just queen energy regardless what gender you are. But so this is really reminding us that, it is important for us to remember that we are empowered, we do have a choice, we can get to decide what we allow into our life or not, and the thoughts we think. And again, not bypassing the process you have to do in the beginning, but based on the spread, I think just this group, if you felt called to watch this reading, you're at the place where it's time for you to write a new story. So with this new moon, you could just like list the situation, the things you've been telling yourself about that situation, and then instead just allow space for there to be like, okay, I'm ready to be different, I'm ready to say something else, I'm ready to have this new story, I'm ready to, like writing in a new story. And so sometimes if it's hard to access that, sometimes I do a thing where I say like, okay, what's a letter, like if God was speaking to me right now, what could God say to me to be like, here is what's happening for your highest good. Here's a way this is happening for you, right? Here's a way this is benefiting you right now. And just allowing that energy into your life. So maybe allowing that new moon to give you space to feel empowered and speak to yourself or choose to think in that way. Because look at these two cards to close your reading. We have Temperance and Page of Swords, so very beautiful. So Temperance is about balance. It's about regaining your footing. It's about, knowing, just pouring the cups, just think like that rhythmic motion of the soothing, peaceful, finding your balance energy. So I think, this is what's going to happen once you decide to remember that this is who you are and that life does love you, God does love you. This is a time for you to find that balance, to recenter out your energy, to just allow those things to come back to fruition for you there. And so when you do that, when you can find that balance, like these things are just going to fall away. So this is really about, once you own that energy, part of owning that energy is finding that balance, is finding that truth within yourself. And then of course, with Page of Swords, right? So as always, I do not believe that, you can just say everything's fine and everything's fine. We do need to have boundaries. This card is about baby boundaries. It's about like kind of, this is just really interesting because a lot of these cards have to do with like your footing, right? So physically or metaphorically, right? So this person, they're about to fall off the edge of the cliff. This person, 1 foot in the water, 1 foot out, trying to find your footing again. And this person kind of like feeling the stride of like, I'm ready to move forward with my footing. So this is really about finding your footing, finding your balance, remembering what are the boundaries I want to have, what are the things I want to say yes to and no to in my life from this situation, right? So what did I learn? A lot of times, sometimes people can get triggered if you say like, oh, what did I learn from this situation? Because you think the ego thinks that means we're condoning it. Never condoning shitty situations or people or abuse or anything like that. But it is empowering to be like, okay, I just learned this is a boundary I didn't know I had before, right? That could be something you learn. So it doesn't mean we're condoning it. It doesn't mean we accept it. Doesn't mean we want it to happen again. It just means what is a boundary I can have about the situation that I didn't have before. So thinking again, even with this new moon, I think with this energy for group 1, you guys can think about telling a new story about the situation. How can I find or create more balance in my life? Maybe it's just some simple affirmation work. Maybe it's just going for a walk. Maybe it's just clearing some things out. And then what boundaries could I have moving forward in my life, just that I learned from the situation. Okay, next we're going to go to your oracle cards. Okay, so so first we'll start with this one. So we have Sage, so we have Purify. Very beautiful. So I think, again, just what we're talking about with this energy of like, purify your mind, purify your thoughts. If you remember God loves you, right? Sometimes we can kind of like clear out some of those ego dumpster thoughts that don't really serve us, that it just, again, wants us, make us to feel like that disempower us. And again, this is a fine line to walk, and sometimes people can use this in toxic spirituality or toxic wellness spaces where it's just like just good vibes only or positive thoughts only. I don't believe in that. Okay, but this is about knowing, you don't need to be telling yourself, wow, I was so stupid that this thing happened, or it was totally my fault, right? We have our side of the street to clean up, but sometimes our side of the street is just the way we think about ourselves or the situation that we were involved in, or any and all of that. So this really is about just purifying and getting rid of those things that weren't serving us, and knowing. So we do have the Magi. So here, I love this card, it's so pretty. But so this is saying, this is about knowing. The Magi is about seeing other realms or seeing like other situations, or knowing that there's multiple layers going on at once, right? So for example, this is what could be happening in physical reality, but on the spiritual level, right? Like this thing was so bad and was so hard for my ego, but actually it helped me advance my level of consciousness. It helped me evolve. It helped me get to this next place of being. So this is about knowing that you have this gift to look inward, to kind of figure out what's going on, to know that there are gifts for you to find the truth here in this situation, and not shying away from that. And, again, allowing your higher self to speak to you and not staying totally stuck and grounded in 3D reality of like, oh my God, this is like, I'm totally stuck in this disempowered place about the situation, right? That's not where we want to be. And we have conclusions are within reach. So I feel like, again, if you, this energy of feeling out of balance and out of control, this is really saying conclusions are within reach. Okay, this is saying that it is time for you to look inward and to, know that it's time to tell another story. It's time to reach a conclusion. It's time to reconnect to this energy of feeling like empowered and remembering who you are. And then we have Soul Sanctuary. So again, you can do that by turning inward. This is really beautiful. This happens all the time. And if you're new to my channel, I pick my cards in advance, but I don't like pick them out. Look at this imagery. It's so similar. both the eye, the moon, all that stuff going on here. Anyway, so the soul sanctuary card can be about remembering like you do have that you do have that stillness inside. We all have that ability to turn inward, to connect to our higher self, connect to God, connect to that energy, and just really allow that to kind of flow forward in our life, right? So we do have that little stillness inside of us we can always connect to, even if it feels like we don't sometimes. And then last, the more I honor my inner light, the more I brighten the world I choose to shine. So really beautiful. So again, this is really saying that like, your inner light can just be, again, letting go of that victim story, letting go of like some of the resentment or unfairness that you might be feeling. And then once you do that, again, this is like same colors as this Queen of Wands. So I think, just really, I see solar plexus energy here, just like this energy of like shining and, allowing these things to come forward in a way that is actually helping the world, and knowing that when you do find balance within yourself, that radiates outward just from an energetic place. And then, you're doing service just by allowing yourself to exist in that beautiful vibration to the world. Okay, and then last, I just want to close with one more affirmation card for this new moon in Sagittarius. So let's see what comes out for you. Group 1. Okay, we have demystifying the darkness. So my shadow shows me where my love needs to be sent. So again, maybe, you're holding on to this resentment, this wounding, because it's feeding a story about yourself. So this is really saying, turn into that, remembering God does love you. This is for you to grow and evolve on the soul level. So knowing that, again, my shadow shows me where my love needs to be sent. These situations, contrary to bullshit mainstream spiritual things, life is not supposed to and cannot go the way we want every single second of every single day, right? So this is really about knowing when things happen that when life is on life terms and things don't go the way we would have particularly chosen, there's something in there for us to access a level of consciousness that we didn't have before. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Happy new moon. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi everyone, welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 2. So as a reminder, for this new moon in Sagittarius eclipse energy, I will be reading the cards in a way that is focused on new energy, calling new energy into your life, and how you want to move forward with creating new things, new thoughts, new patterns, new whatever. So I'm going to be reading in that way, but if it's not the new moon when you're watching this, then have some faith, there is a message in here for you. Okay, so this is one of my favorite affirmations personally, but group 2 you guys picked. I release the need to control my life. So the irony with controlling is the more we try to control something that we can't control, so basically anything that's not us, the more that thing controls us, because we get so focused on it. And so like, well, it needs to be that way, or it needs to be that way, or it needs to be that way. And we put all our energy on this thing, and we're just stuck in this endless, insane loop of like control things. And so I release the need to control my life. So that doesn't mean you can't control your thoughts, can't control the way you speak to yourself, can't control these things that we have this relationship with ourselves, but we cannot control other people. We can't control the way things unfold in our life. We can't control the timing in our life. We can't control if someone does a certain thing that in the exact way we want, the exact time we want, right? So take it how it resonates. Whatever I'm talking about maybe resonated for you around a particular thing in your life that maybe you're going through, but this is just a reminder that yes, we cannot control our life. So I release the need to control my life. So with this new moon, it could just, you maybe just want to make a list of, I'm trying to control this thing or this thing or this thing. And then, you can write next to it, I release the need to control whatever thing you wrote about, and then just say, here's something I can try to control instead, right? Maybe it could be the way I talk to myself about the situation, or my faith in God in this situation, whatever, any and all of that. So I release the need to control my life. Always a good one to come back to. Okay, like always, I'm going to start with your tarot and then do your oracle cards at the end. So we have 4 of Cups, 2 of Pentacles, the World in reverse, Strength, and the Fool. My hand covered up. Oh God. Okay. So yeah, I feel like I really just need to control my life is coming out pretty good here. So seems like we'll start. Sometimes I just get I just want to talk about all of them. We're gonna do one at a time. Okay, 4 cups. So this is really about God is trying to help you, God is trying to give you something, God is trying to whatever, but you are blocked in some way with this. It could be that maybe you're focused on, well, it has to be this way, this way, or this way. And God's like, no, wait, what about this one? And you're like, no, okay. So this is no judgment. I've been there. Okay, it's part of life, it's part of having an ego. But this is really just reminding us that a lot of times there's so many things in our life that don't happen the way we expect, or we have to take a little detour, or there's a time lapse, or something happens that it isn't the exact way we have decided in our minds it has to be, and so we are just shut down and not open to something coming to us in a way that maybe we didn't think. So this is about staying open, and about just really knowing that we can't see the whole picture. We can't see what's best for us. We can choose, like, okay, well, this one doesn't feel the best. This one feels okay. This one, whatever, right? We want to acknowledge that. But this is also just reminding us that, sometimes something can come to us in a way that is totally unexpected, or totally a way that we didn't realize was the best for us. And actually, is really good. So I think with this new moon, you might want to identify, okay, what are some ways I can be open in a way I haven't been acting super open lately in regards to, whatever area of your life you're looking at. Because then we have this 2 of Pentacles, which is really nice, because it's, again, just a reminder of like juggling. Like sometimes we can't make a decision because we're so focused on like it has to be this one. And so 2 of Pentacles is about indecisiveness. You can see the water in the background, even it's like choppy and wavy. So it's like, okay, well, this has to be this particular way because that's what I decided, and I'm only going to move forward if it's that way. And so this is really just about knowing that when you block creative possibilities, or you block the way something could be showing up for you, then you're always going to feel in limbo because you're so focused on these 2 things, or 3 or 4 or 1, whatever, just metaphorically. 2 of Pentacles, focused on these things that might not be for you, even though it really feels like it has to be this way, this exact thing, this exact situation, whatever. Even if, again, that's not particularly true or helpful or relevant to where you are right now in your life. And then, because the center of your reading, you have the World in reverse. So this is about a cycle not ending. This is about something not coming to a close. So I feel like if you haven't been, this is, again, I'm just hearing this word control. So if you're trying to control the way you move forward with the situation, you're trying to control the way it, you can't let this cycle end. You can't let it go, because this is the world in reverse. So you're really trying to be like, okay, well, it has to be this particular way. And since it's not, I'm not moving forward, right? Or I'm not letting this thing go, or this particular person didn't say this thing to me, so I can't let this thing go. So this is really the theme of your reading. So with this new moon, I think group 2, you guys can really, again, control is a big theme for you, but this is really about, how can I let this go? How can I have some faith in this situation? What's a new story I could tell myself about why these things might be happening this way? So this is really about, you want the cycle to finish. And so to do that, you have to move in a new way. So again, this isn't a full moon reading, so we don't want to focus too much on releasing, but you do want to think about a new way of allowing things in your life. So this could be a new way, could be, the new way could be like, I'm ready to release this and then move into this story where I am X, Y, or Z, or I am open to creative possibilities, or I'm open to working for a company that I didn't think I would be open to, or I'm open to dating in this way that I wasn't, or I'm open to finding this thing in this way that I wasn't, right? So just, you want the cycle to end. And the world in reverse, it's like the cycle's not ending. It's because you need to let go of the control and let go of the way that it has to be in this particular thing, or else it's not. The cycle's never going to change, right? If you want something different, you have to do something different that you've never done before, right? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So all of that energy. But then once you do that, look, we have the Strength right into the Fool. So a lot of yellow, beautiful energy here. And so once you do that, it might feel painful. This might be the first time that you tell a new story in that way, or you decide something different in your life, or you decide something is going to be different, right? It might feel weird, might feel uncomfortable, might feel like, well, maybe some imposter syndrome, like who am I to have that be my life? Who am I to decide that this is the thing I want in my life? Who am I to decide that, whatever. But this strength card is really just reminding you, you are the person to do that. You are the person to decide to allow that into your life, and tapping into your inner strength, and just remembering, we never feel 100% ready when it's time to make a change, when it's time to be different. And there's so many things in life we just kind of get like shoved into or pushed into because we wouldn't do that because we like our comfort zones, right? We're creatures of habit. We're humans. We want things to feel comfortable and easy and available for us. And so this strength card is really about tapping into the inner strength and knowing that you do have the ability. I can release the control of my life, and I can focus on controlling myself. And it could just be, what's one small action I can take? What's a new story I can tell myself about myself? All of that. And then, you want to summon up that strength, that courage, and then have our beautiful full energy of, moving forward, leap and the net will appear, right? Just kind of, the Fool requires a little bit of letting go, of course, and also just this like willingness to mess up, willingness to figure it out along the way, willingness to release along the way. So this can be energy around just, kind of jumping off the cliff and seeing what happens. I mean, not literally, okay, but just knowing that it's time for you to take a step forward. It's time for you to, just have walk by faith and not by sight, and know that you do, sometimes we can be resistant to things happening for us because we think we won't be taken care of, or we can't see what it's going to be. But so when you release the need to control your life, you just focus on yourself and take the right and perfect action you can take within yourself. And then that radiates outward into physical reality in your life. So this is about, again, having faith, taking a step forward, moving forward with all of that. Okay, let's look at the oracle cards. Okay, so yeah, now is the time. So this is really beautiful. So whatever you have been blocking for yourself, or whatever cycle you've been holding open by not just starting to move forward, can't be any more clear. Okay, now is the time. Here's a key. There's a key. So maybe you're going to unlock the next layer of your life. You're going to do all of that. But so this is really about, now is the time. No more excuses, group 2. Stop trying to control stuff. Sometimes when we try to control things, that's not us, or things we can't actually control, it's just a distraction. So we don't have to take action, or we don't have to move forward, or we don't have to whatever. So this is just saying, now's the time to stop doing that and put your energy on yourself and move forward in that way. And oh my God, there's so many good messages. So I think, we'll do stabilize. So this is, again, a part of what I feel with this, with the St. John works with stabilize energy is you can have these things in your life and have these new situations in your life, but you need to recognize the ways you are contributing to these not ideal situations in order to move forward. Okay, so this is really about knowing that, okay, how, what am I focusing on that I can't, or what am I, whatever, this is about getting clear, getting back to zero, and then summoning that inner strength and that Fool energy moving forward. So where do you need to stabilize your energy? Where do you need to call it back to you? Where do you need to be like, wow, these are ways that I've been doing this, or this, but I actually need to like release it a little bit. So this is energy about, recalibrating within yourself, getting clear within yourself, and then trusting that that energy is going to be able to help you move forward. But if your energy is leaking all over the place, right, it's not gonna be the most helpful thing for you. And so we have, it's time to release negativity. Full moon is Scorpio. So maybe you're a Scorpio, you have Scorpio in your chart. If you don't worry about it too much. This is a general reading. But so this is about, it's time to release negativity. So again, not good vibes only, positive vibes only. I'm not intending that toxic spirituality, toxic positivity, but there does come a time and a place where we just have been addicted to talking shit about something, or to having something be in our lives in a way that doesn't feel the best, or we're the only one making it real. It does get to a point in our healing process where we're the ones who's contributing to that, and we need to let it go. So if you are, this is, again, end the cycle by stop talking shit about it and letting it go and moving into like this new energy in your life. So it's just, you have to hold yourself accountable to be like, well, I'm just talking about this out of habit when I don't actually need to be talking about it. I need to be putting my energy and my focus on this new thing or this new situation. Because we do have, again, the card soul work. So again, just very similar energies. I love this card, it's so pretty. But knowing that, when we go through hard times, contrary to mainstream, simplified law of attraction, whatever, all of this stuff, we don't get to create a life with no problems, right? If that was true, no one would go through anything they don't want to do ever in their life. When we have difficult situations or things that challenge us, it's order for us to evolve on the soul level, to get to a new level of consciousness, even if the new level is just being kinder to ourselves in a way that we weren't before. And so with this soul work, this is saying kind of this energy, the cycle can't close and you can't move forward to group 2 unless you release this control, unless you get to this new level of your life, unless so there is like a soul lesson going on here, and just transforming that. And then this card, it might not apply to everyone, but maybe for the situation in the beginning I was talking about, this might be if you're having like relationship issues. It might not be a romantic relationship, could be a work relationship you need to let go of, or a way someone wronged you in the past or something like this. But the difficult relationships in my life are the perfect mirror for me to look more closely at my own behavior. So this is, again, not going into toxic spirituality of like anything you see in someone else is something you don't like in yourself. Sometimes that's true, definitely, right? But sometimes the difficult relationships in your life are the mirror for me to look more closely at my own behavior. Sometimes it's like, wow, I need to set better boundaries. I need to stop saying yes to these things that aren't working for me. I need to stop internalizing someone else's limitations. Okay, it is very true that us judging someone for expressing themselves when we're not expressing ourselves can definitely be applicable, right? There is definitely like the mirroring of this is showing me something within myself that I don't like, but it's not always. So take it how it resonates, but just remember, sometimes it's okay if you don't like a behavior in someone else, if they're acting in a shitty way, and it doesn't mean like, oh, I'm doing that too. You want to check in and, make sure you're not doing that. But this could also be difficult relationships. Maybe this thing in the beginning is you internalized how someone acted and internalize their limitations and think, oh, well, this means something about me because of whatever XYZ. And so maybe the difficult relationship is to stop reacting to that person, stop making it mean something about you, stop making it mean like, okay, well, I'm not doing something right if this person is still treating me this way, because again, we cannot control other people. Okay. And then last, I just want to close with one last affirmation. Oh my God, 5,000 just flew from the deck, but we're not picking those because it's too many. So we just want one, please, for group 2. Acknowledging apprehension. When it's a yes, nothing can stop me. When I'm unsure, it's always a no. So this is interesting. So I think maybe just some nuance here, because we did talk about the time is now, or now is the time. But so this is maybe just saying, using some discernment, and just, again, maybe the lesson here for you all was maybe when were you saying yes when you should have said no, or when were you saying no when you should have said yes, or things like that. So maybe with this new moon, you can write out and get clear about, these are some ways I want to use a little bit more discernment in my life moving forward. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. Happy new moon, Sagittarius. If you ever want any more information about me, all of that is linked below. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 3. So you all picked I Can Do It. Very simple, but one of my favorite affirmations. And then trust is also on there. So, just remember that if you're brought to it, you will be brought through it. And sometimes, if we're starting an activity or we're feeling nervous, or, in the beginning, can forget this little cute forward affirmation, I can do it, can be very helpful. So with this new moon, maybe if there's something, we'll see what comes up in the cards, but if there's something challenging or a new situation or something just a little bit out of your comfort zone where you're like, I don't know if I can do this, maybe you might not be consciously thinking that thought, but just as you start to take action, just reminding yourself, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. Again, very simple, very helpful affirmation to help get us through a lot of things if we just remember that as we start to take action. So you can do it, group 3. Okay, part of you connected with that message a little bit. That's why it came up. Okay, so like usual, I'm going to start with your tarot cards and then I will do your oracle cards at the end. And so just a reminder, I think I said this at the beginning of this group 3. We really are, this is new moon energy. So I will be reading the cards in a way that is focusing on new energy, allowing new things to come into your life, and how you want to move forward with kind of like new things instead of focusing so much on the past. Okay, so first we have 3 of Pentacles, and then we have 9 of Pentacles, and then we have the Page of Wands, and then 5 of Swords, and then 9 of Wands. Okay, so I feel like you might be in a transitory time here, group 3. So, and you're kind of figuring out, how do I move forward? What's going on with that? So with 3 of Pentacles into the 9 of Pentacles, I feel like maybe you're in a situation with, could be work, could be personal life, it could be just really looking at the way you interact with people. 3 of Pentacles is about like group work, teamwork. It could be about actual work, but it could be like in your personal relationships. It could be in the way you navigate life, any and all of that. This 3 of Pentacles energy is about that. And then we have the 9 of Pentacles right next to it. So, which is about, total, a lot of abundance in the self, a lot of physical reality abundance, a lot of like just really owning that power, really being like, this is all I have. Look at all this abundance I have in my life. So it seems like these 2 cards next to each other, there's, feels like like you're balancing out, like, okay, these are ways that maybe I was a little codependent or a little, we are an interdependent species. So I don't want to ever emphasize that you should be totally independent from everything and everyone in your life, right? I don't agree with that. We are interdependent. We do need each other. But so maybe you're finding this balance. Just these 2 cards together feel like, to me, finding that balance of like, okay, what are ways that I have been overly reliant on other people, that I have been, giving my power away or thinking I need to do X, Y, or Z to get this particular thing in my life. That energy is coming up with this 3 of Pentacles. And then the 9 of Pentacles is more of, feeling strong, sturdy, independent within yourself and finding that balance. So with this, I think group 3 for this new moon, maybe you want to say like, where do I need to have more balance in my life? So it could be maybe your pattern is you have been a little codependent and focused on, this way, but maybe I want to be a little more independent. Or it could be I've been too independent this way and now I want to bring more support in my life. So this is really just saying to me, what areas in your life could be help with work, it could be a creative project, it could be your romantic or platonic relationships. What ways do you want to find more balance in terms of being enmeshed and then not enmeshed, or having reliance versus being super no reliance on other people, right? So how can you put more balance in your life with this? Okay, and then, because look, in the middle we have Page of Wands, which is very nice. And this is about like new inspiration, new ideas, new action coming forward. And just like, I feel like you're at the place where, I can do it. This affirmation coming out with this new moon, and then with this Page of Wands, you're ready for a change. You're ready for this next layer of your life, especially because we have eclipse today. Eclipse is like faded changes and time for things to start to be different and something else to have happen and all of that. So this Page of Wands is really about, the ways you can allow a new idea or a new way of being to come in. So maybe if it just feels like the very beginning, or, it's like, this is very baby energy. It's very new energy. So if you're just now thinking about these things, you're just realizing, okay, what do I want to do? Don't feel like you have to have all the answers. Don't feel like you need to know the exact way you're going to do it or what's going to happen. This is just about saying, okay, there is a new way of being. I can have a new idea. I can move forward in a way that feels the best for me at the pace I want. And it's just about holding that new idea and not getting super focused or super hung up on it has to be this one particular way for me now, right? Just knowing, letting it breathe, letting it have space, letting it come to fruition in the time it needs to, but knowing that there is something new on the horizon for you, a new way of being, for how you want to show up in the world, and the new energy you want to tap into, and the new way of existing in, again, with this balance of being interdependent, right? Sometimes we can go back and forth and kind of go between extremes, but now this is really saying you can kind of choose to just be in this right balance with that. And then this is interesting. Close your reading. We have the 5 of Swords and the 9 of Wands. So I feel like this is really saying some blocks that might come up for you is around maybe you got cheated in the past, or someone harmed you, or there was some deception, and maybe that's why you went from codependent to totally independent, or that's why you're hyper independent because you feel like you can't trust anyone, or maybe that's why you're totally codependent because you feel like you can't trust yourself, right? So this is really getting clear about what are the ways that you have been hurt in the past. And then 9 of Wands is taking the blindfold off, realizing like, there's a lot of options for you, and you don't just have to cling to this pain from the past. And again, I'm not saying it wasn't painful, I'm not saying it doesn't, have to exist in a way that you totally dismiss it or pretend like it didn't happen, right? We don't want to do that. But this is really about just saying, what is blocking me from moving into a more balanced way of being in my life? And it could be, looking at some of these old things. So with this new moon, maybe you want to tell yourself a new story about that. It could be, just because one person took advantage of me doesn't mean everyone will, or just because I existed super independent doesn't mean I won't be safe if I allow people to take care of me. Or, just because I feel like I need to have someone with me when I do X, Y, or Z doesn't mean I actually have to. So this is about kind of clearing some of those old beliefs and knowing that you don't have to give them totally space. And then this is also about illusions, but it's also about, look how many options you have, so maybe you're trying this one with the Page of Wands, but there's actually so many other choices you can make for yourself. You can figure out it along the way. You can change direction, change your mind whenever you want as things are unfolding. You don't have to be stuck with just one situation. I do want to pull another card just because that ended like a little, cautionary thing. So I just want to pull 2 more just to see if we can get a little more insight with this. Because this is like a pretty, you pick group 3, I think there's a pretty specific message in here for you. Okay, 400 just fell out. So we'll just take these 2. Too many. I have to shuffle again. Okay, so we have the Queen of Cups and the Sun. Very beautiful, very nice ending to your reading again. So this is, again, I feel like, this is saying Queen of Cups is emotional intelligence. She does have her power. And then the Sun is this beautiful inner child. Like, I can lead with my heart in an emotionally intelligent way, right? But I can move forward in a way that feels good, that feels lighthearted, that feels exciting for me. So this is, I think, really saying once you kind of get clear and release some of those things with this new moon, if you know who you are, in your heart, you are someone who is emotionally intelligent, does, get power from listening to your emotions, listening to your intuition, and also has this inner child, this playfulness energy that you can allow to offer guidance in your life, you will be taken care of, you will be fulfilled. So yeah, that feels better to end with than just, some of these reminders type of thing. So very nice. Okay, then let's look at your oracle cards. Wow. Okay, so I think so these all go together like usual. What do I want to start with? Okay, so embrace the new dawn. So this is again just a reminder that you are in a place where it's time for you to make these decisions. It's time for you to have this new thought, this new idea, how things can unfold for you in a way that maybe didn't feel like it before. So embracing the new dawn can really be about just allowing these things to come into your life in a way that you hadn't before, knowing it is time for change, it is time for a new thought, time for you to be different. Just a good reminder with that one. Just remembering that, of course, you can do it, okay, with this new dawn energy. And then with that, there is abundance, right? So we have hollyhock, abundance. So remembering, sometimes when we're scared to take new action or scared to be different or scared to, have a new pattern or exist in a way we didn't before, we can be afraid because we don't think that there's something in physical reality to affirm us or something that, could particularly support us. And so abundance, this is just reminding you that as long as you're following your heart and following the path you need to take and knowing that, you do need to find balance between these things. There is enough for you to follow your heart, and it will be taken care of in that way. Because look at this, you are good enough, full moon in Virgo. So you might be a Virgo or you have Virgo in your chart. If not, don't worry about it. This is just a general reading, but you are good enough. So a lot of times we're fearful of breaking patterns, or we feel afraid to do something because we feel like we're not good enough, not enough in general, not enough, whatever, but just, generally some version of I'm not good enough. So this is just a reminder that you are whole and complete on your own. You are able to make these choices. You are able to have what you want and exist how you want in a way that benefits the whole world, including yourself. As long as you remind yourself you are good enough, and there are things on this earth that are for you in a way that is very loving and caring for yourself. Because we do have, when I lead from a place of love, people respect me. So sometimes also, again, with this, we can be afraid to set boundaries, or afraid to ask for help, or afraid to, wherever you are on the scale of these things, because we think people won't respect me, they won't love me anymore, I won't be good enough anymore. But the truth is, boundaries are a way for us to have preferences in relationships so they work better. And asking for help is also a miracle, because it shows I need help, we're interdependent, all of that. So when you're doing things from a place of knowing that a place of love, right? But the love doesn't mean oh yeah, I have no boundaries, and I have no limits, and I have no this and no preferences, and I don't ask for help, and I know everything, right? That's not love, right? Love is using and being aware of all the benefits we have on this earth for ourselves. And so knowing, when you are existing from a place of love, people respect you, they're drawn to you, your relationships get stronger when you tell someone that you don't want to do something when you don't want to do it, or you do want to do something when you do want to do it, or you say, no, I'm not available for that. It's you raise that bar energetically for yourself, then things outside of you just kind of go with that energy too. And then to end that, we do have the Weaver for this last card. I love this card so much. And it just has a little bit of everything on it, right? So this is the Sword, especially, is just reminding me, again, when we talk about boundaries, when we talk about you have a choice for the things you want to allow or not in your life, the things you want to create or have happen in your life. This is we're not in control of everything. We're not more powerful than God. We can't control anyone else besides ourselves, but we do have a say with the seeds we plant and the things we sow, based on, or the things we reap based on what we sow with this card. So the Weaver is really just echoing that energy of just, we do have a choice on some level, and we do have the ability to have new patterns, new thoughts, new changes in our lives, especially, again, new moon, right, that we want to have, even if it feels like we don't have it 100% of the time. Okay, and I'm just going to close with one affirmation. So, honoring adversity. A fire reveals a path of renewed direction once the burning is complete. So very nice. So it feels like, again, with this I can do it energy, if you're going through hell or walking through the fire, just remember sometimes we have to burn, and then things purify, and then we can get to the other end. So only way out is through, keep going. But just remembering that, things have to burn down. We have to have destruction if we want the new space, new things to be happening. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much, and happy new moon.